Covering the genre of hard rock and heavy metal, this is the Hard Rockology Show. I'm Chris, and I want to welcome to the show the members of Prowess. Guys, welcome to the Hard Rockology Show.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having us.
If you guys could just introduce yourselves, that'd be great so the listeners can get an idea of who I'm talking with.
All right, this is Dalton Bowes, lead singer for Prowess.
This is Kenny Keeler, there's a bassist. Kip Wilson, guitarist. Adam, drummer. And Scott Roby, the other guitar player.
All right, I love it. I love two guitar players in a band. It's great. And I want to compliment you guys on the sound of this EP. It kind of takes me back a little bit to, I want to say, 80s a little bit, early 90s, because it's just a good vibe, good music, no politics, no end of the world type of crap. It's just good fun.
It's fantastic.
Compliment you on that, guys.
Right on. Thanks, man. Yeah, that was the goal.
Yeah, so the band started, what, in less than a year ago, 2016, right?
That's right, yeah.
So how did that come about? I know some of the guys used to be in 21st Century Goliath. You want to talk a little bit about that band, what happened with that, and how Prowess came to be?
Several of us were in 21st Century Goliath. You know, we were touring right up until the end. We kind of had a little difference of opinion falling out, I guess, with the singer, and decided we were going to go our separate ways. Four of us, the two guitar players, the drummer and the bass player, we decided, you know, we're going to forge on and find a new guy. And it didn't take us very long to track down Dalton, and we brought him in. He nailed the audition. And, you know, we decided in a very short period, we were going to just start over, just relaunch. I mean, you know,
kind of start over, right?
Yep, just start over. And that was a really hard decision to make because we had all that momentum. But in the same breath, we'd learned a lot of lessons with that group that we knew we could apply to this one.
And our sound wasn't quite the same as 21st Century Goliath.
Yeah, I did notice that right off the bat. I figured, okay, this is like part of 21st Century Goliath in a way, and is it going to be a little bit different? And then to my surprise, it's a lot different than those other two albums by 21st Century.
Right on. Yeah, that was the goal.
So who came up with the name of the band, Prowess?
We'd been spitballing ideas for a while. We definitely, you know, I've actually just recently even, I hear all the time, man, 21st Century Goliath was a great name, you know, and I guess that's an underhand way of somebody who was a fan of that band saying they don't like the new name. But I personally, you know, never liked the name 21st Century Goliath. It was so long. It was clumsy when it fell out of my mouth. It was like, you know, if I was in the store and somebody's like, "What band are you in?" and I went to tell them, it was almost like I dreaded having to tell them such a long name because the words fell out of my mouth like bricks. So, you know, one of the main things we were doing is we wanted to have something that was a lot shorter and a lot sweeter, you know, and so we were kicking around names. Somehow or other, the name Prowess came up because it was kind of in line with some of the other names we were working on, and it kind of really stuck with me. So I went home and drafted up a couple logo ideas, and I brought them to practice, and everybody's like, "Cool, yeah, let's do it. That's good."
I hear a lot of different influences on the EP, Kiss being one, Kicks, and another band from Helsinki, Finland called the Helicopters. I mean, have you guys heard of those bands? Obviously, you heard of the first two bands.
Those guys. Absolutely, yeah. The Helicopters, especially Kenny and I, we dig a lot of those, I guess you'd call them Scandinavian bands. Not really the metal bands, but the rock bands like the Helicopters, Turbo Negro, you know, bands from over there. We're friends with a couple of bands from over there. One, the last band from Sweden, we'd actually played with Liv Jäger from Sister Sin a couple of, you know, in the past. So yeah, we're familiar with those bands. Yeah,
because of one of the songs on the Headfirst EP, Killing a Giant, it reminded me of the Helicopters right off the bat. It's a great song.
Yep, I appreciate that.
So guys, tell me about the writing process on this. I mean, it's got some great songs on it. Like I said, Killing a Giant's one of my favorites, and I like the closing track on the album too, Overboard. It's got some great guitar work on it, and the vocals are really good too.
Well, as far as the writing process, it was like a lot of it came from everybody having a rough idea, and then everybody trying to, because this band was really a group effort in the CD, because we all know 21st Century Goliath was, you know, as much of a group effort, but Scott was really, you know, the brain man behind that. But in this band, he gave all of us an opportunity to really try to feel it out and make it evolve. And especially when you were talking about earlier with you know, the influences that you heard on some of the tracks, a lot of that we all tried to put in, especially myself included, as far as writing the lyrics, because I was really nerve-wracked to do it. Most of it turned out really well, and the thing about it was this was a group effort. That's why we're all so especially proud of it. and we all worked really hard on it. Everything from the lyrics and the music, me personally, as far as being a singer, I chipped in on a lot of stuff, and I never had that opportunity before with guitar parts, even some drum parts, and everybody helped me work in on the vocals. So, you know what I mean? It really was a group effort, and it shows that way because of how strong the music is. We're all definitely proud of it.
Yeah, Dalton's actually a pretty accomplished guitar player. I mean, he gives Kip a run for his money in the band room. I don't think Kip wants to admit that, but he does. So, he can come in with a guitar part. Kenny, the bass player, is actually an accomplished guitar player, and Adam can play around on the guitar a little bit. So the process in the band room is, it usually revolves around a riff. Somebody will have an idea, either a lyric idea that we'll build around, or a funky bass line, or a funky drum beat, or a guitar riff. And I'd say, usually it is a guitar riff, but we'll kind of, we'll jam on it for a little bit and let it kind of take shape and see how it grabs us and if we like it. And then, we'll kind of start fleshing it out from there and developing some parts for it and let Dalton kind of work on it with lyrics a little bit. And we'll take it.
Maybe think of other ideas that had a similar kind of sound, like other similar riffs from past ideas, and maybe infuse those.
To me, go ahead, guys. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I was gonna say we have this file that we keep, and it's got song idea after song idea, and sometimes it happens. We'll take 4 or 5 ideas and Frankenstein them together, and lo and behold, that becomes a song. But they were all separate ideas to begin with. And next thing you know, we've got this part, and we somehow fuse them together. And next thing you know, boom, that evolves into a Killing a Giant or something like that. We have a lot of tracks like that we 30-second snippets that get pieced together, and there becomes a track at that point.
To me, listening to the EP, I can only imagine what it translates onto the stage like. I mean, I'm sure the songs are heavier on stage. I mean, what's the vibe from the fans on the first couple of shows so far? What you guys playing? Or you guys been together for a year, so what's the reaction so far?
It's been great. I mean, we've put about last year we put about 50 plus shows on the under the belt. We played, we did 2 tours. We toured with Boba Flex at the end of the year, and then earlier in the summer we did a tour. I mean, we played in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia. I mean, we're getting it out there, and what we've noticed is that the response is great. I mean, people really are digging it. I feel like we're a raw, young rock and roll band. That's that we sell energy, and I believe we are a live band. I think we're, it translates better live, I think, than it does on an album, which, is the case for a lot of bands, and some bands not. Some bands are live bands, but I think all the bands that we like and all the bands that we love and grew up listening to would qualify, as live bands. They're bands, like AC/DC or Kiss, that they're legends because their live show was so spectacular. We don't have the budget or the production that they do, so we're playing in these little shithole bars, with barely any lights and maybe two PA speakers, but we're trying to give it hell.
Because we don't have that type of budget, we have to literally sell our souls on stage. I mean, just go balls to the wall, because we don't have that budget. We don't have pyro. We don't have a cannon firing off on the stage. We got to go 90 miles an hour as hard as we can go, because that's all we got. Just that.
You'll probably lose about 8 pounds on stage every night, man. And I put it all back with beer, because we are a beer and liquor in general fueled machine. I mean, we're not the band that's going to take the stage with a couple of bottles of Dasani in the background. We're going to try to keep it relatively copacetic before we hit the stage. When we hit the stage, it's game on. We're going to lead by example. We're trying to get that crowd drunk.
I always see that when I go see live bands, and it's like if I see the water on the drum riser, I'm like, oh no, they're not going to be drinking and partying and having a good time. I think you can have a few beers on stage or whatever, but like you guys just said, you don't have the budget for pyrotechnics and all this. And personally, I don't even think you need that. You just need to connect with the audience and get that vibe and that energy feeding off of them, and then you bringing it back to them. That to me makes for a great rock show.
I agree.
We walk off the stage all the time into the audience. We'll find the people sitting in the back corner, not looking down at their phone, and we'll walk right up into their face with our guitars during our set, play right in front of them, so they know we're there.
Wake up, bitch, we're here.
Yeah. I don't get that either. You go into a rock show and you're looking at your phone. I don't get it. I mean, what else? Why are you there then? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're here to wake them up and make them smell the roses. Even though I would say we don't smell much like roses, more like 4-day-old shit. Oh. But they're going to feel us. They're going to know we're there.
That's hot.
This is Hard Rockology Show. I'm talking with the guys from Prowess. They got a brand new EP out. It's called Headfirst. Guys, you can get the EP where on your website?
Yeah, we can. The physical copy is for sale at a couple of different places. The easiest place to get it, obviously, is at our is on our website or at a live show. Come and see us.
Okay, very cool. Tell me about the cover of the album. Is that Mount St. Helens on there?
That is the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. I think that's a 19. Yeah, it's World War II. I think the picture was taken in 1944, and that is actually when Mount Vesuvius is erupting. One of my good friends, one of the guys I served with, he sent me that picture as we're putting together ideas for an album cover, and he's like, "Man, this is a really cool picture. It's public domain. You might want to." I could see this being an album cover, and damn if 2 hours later that wasn't the one we were rocking from here on out. I mean, it was just a cool picture. We did, of course, we kind of made it our own. If you look at the original picture, it's going to be a little different, but that's a relatively well-known picture. I don't mind admitting that we used something that was readily available, but it was just so cool. It just kind of did the job. It sold the idea behind the album.
It looks like there's about to be destruction on hand.
I mean, I just looked at that picture and I was like, man, that is badass. Let's try to use that.
Yeah, that's what I miss about the 70s, 80s, the album covers and stuff. And then you guys did a really good job on this EP because you got the cool album cover. You open it up, you got the picture of the band inside, you got all the lyrics. It's really well put together. I got to congratulate you guys on that.
I appreciate that, man. We all had input on that. I actually do a little bit of design work myself, and we put all that together. So that saves on your budget. You can do it yourself in house. Hopefully someday we can afford an artist that's got skills superior to my own. But in the meantime, I'm equipped to do the job, I guess.
Back in the 70s, that was the one of the great things about buying music. You'd go to the store, you'd buy your album. You open that vinyl up, and gatefold vinyl. It's kind of the same thing. Obviously, we did it in CD form, but got a lyrics. You got lyrics there. Like you take your little slip sleeve out, lyrics on it, pictures of the band. Kind of designed it that way. So when you open this thing up, it's very visual and reminiscent of the 70s, the vinyl era kind of thing.
So you got a couple of videos for the EP, or actually you got one video for the EP, the No Survivor song, but you also have the other video, the PSA announcement one. Tell me a little bit about that one.
The PSA announcement particularly, we were just, we like to push our product. We like to hit up all our friends, all our family, all our fans and say, hey, we got this CD. We're not going to let you off the hook without buying it. It's $5 for Christ's sake. Just buy it. That was a habit we developed. The four of us developed back in the old band. That band actually charted on Billboard. We actually we moved enough units in that band to wind up number 8 on the Billboard Heat Seeker chart and number 22 on the Hard Rock chart, just because we hit up everybody we knew. And we have these relationships that we cultivate. We're friendly with our fans. We like to hang out with people, and they like hanging out with us. We're not the band that's going to disappear before the show and show up and play the show and disappear afterwards. We're going to be in there hanging out with you the whole time. And so we use that to our advantage, and we push people to buy the albums. Well, in this case, we didn't want to send out 1 billion Facebook messages. I got 5,000 people on my friends list, man. I'm not trying to type out a message to 5,000 people to get them to buy this album. So, I just had this idea going down the road. But what if we did a really neat video that people would come and see? And I just immediately was thinking about the ASPCA videos where the dog, they kind of have the Sarah McLachlan music in the background, and the dogs are making sad eyes. I'm like, what if we kind of stole a little bit of that? And so when we put it together and spitballed, we come up with a bunch of pretty cool ideas for it. And then, we shot that video together on this space phone that I'm using to talk to you on. We put that thing together in like 1 day, 2 hours, something like that, But, man, people really responded to that. People really thought that was hilarious. I mean, there were people sharing that that were outside of our circle. For all intents and purposes, it went viral.
It's an original idea. I mean, I got right off the bat what it was a take on, and it's a totally original idea. And another question about the video: was there ever anything that anybody found in that dumpster? Because at the end of the video, I forget what member was in the dumpster.
That was Kenny, and whatever he found, I'm sure he took home and kept.
Okay, I'll have to send him out some Newport cigarettes then.
Yeah.
And the old English 800 was pretty funny. I haven't had that since my high school days.
Yeah, that's the budget we're on, man.
Well, if I had to choose between malt liquor, I think I'm going to go with Mickey's Big Mouth instead.
Yeah, I think that was just on sale in that gas station. That was all legit, by the way. Now we didn't script that. We didn't know how it was going to turn out. We just got out of the car and walked in the store, and he walked straight to the back and bought that bottle and brought it up and dumped out a bunch of pennies on the counter. And all that reaction was genuine. The people standing in line and in the store, they're looking at us like, who in the hell are these dudes? And the lady I remember her look when he just dumped those pennies out on the counter. She was just looking at him like, I'm not amused. Whatever the hell you're doing here, make it quick.
Now I have to ask Dalton this: was it the same thing in the strip club?
No, we had to. That would have been an ass whooping right there if that had been real. So we had to have that one. But I feel like, just saying on my own, I wasn't the one that was like, Scott was like, you should be the one to get that idea. You should be the one. And I thought, well, you know what? Yeah, you got guys over here in dumpsters, digging in dumpsters, and paying with pennies.
Yeah, I had to talk them into it a little bit. Luckily, I have some friends. Friends around.
Yeah, luckily me and Scott were friends with the owner of the place. So it was we just asked him, and luckily there was a girl that was comfortable with it too. And
yeah, so we had to get a dancer's permission. There was only one brave enough. If you notice in that scene in the video, there's nobody in the bar. That's because nobody wanted to be on camera, so everybody stood behind us while we did it. Which and it works out perfect because it looks like he's in just an empty strip club.
Exactly.
And getting to dance by himself, and he dumped out the quarters. And dumped the quarters on the stage. It was just, I don't know. It was just really fun to make, I thought. And people were kind of in there like, who the hell are these dudes? But by now they've all seen the video and they all think we're famous.
Well, that was actually, I can't even imagine doing that in a strip club. Instead of dollar bills, just dump out like 8 quarters or whatever. Here you go.
Yeah, it was a hard sell to the dancers. Like I said, only one of them was brave enough to do it. She was like, this is not going to be degrading or anything. I'm like, no, it's going to be degrading to us because we're broke. But you're going to come out smelling like a rose. Trust me.
Okay, I know it's only a short EP, but do you guys have like each of you have a favorite song off the EP besides liking them all?
I personally am particular to Show Me. I really like the mid-tempo rocker, the kind of pocket rocker song. I like the lyric. That was the one that's probably the most. I would say that one is virtually 98% Dalton. Just he didn't get much. He didn't get much input on it. He didn't need much input on it. So to me, lyrically, it's I can appreciate it as a fan because I didn't actually help write the lyrics. You know what I mean? Versus the other songs, it's kind of hard to look at them through a lens of somebody of appreciating the song as a fan. When you wrote it, you kind of have a different perspective. But so Show Me, I think for me is my favorite. And I like the slow, tasteful melodic rocker. I really feel like we need a couple more that boogie a little bit faster, really, to hook the modern audience. So we'll probably write a lot more up-tempo songs on the other one, but still, we're going to try to keep that mid-tempo kind of Aussie rock pocket vibe alive because that's for me, that's what moves me.
What about the rest of you guys?
Yeah, I myself, man, Killing the Giant. Just myself, I'm a bit of a heavier metalhead, so I just think it's really just heavy and rocking myself, man.
My personal favorite, Overboard. It's kind of tongue in cheek, funny, but at the same time, it's a killer, man.
My favorite is also Killing a Giant because the punk bands that I grew up playing with, and also being a fan of like Finnish and Swedish rock, it has that European kind of sound. It's fun to play, and outside looking in, it's a really it grabs me.
Mine would definitely, be Show Me. And the only reason why is because I thought that originally when I wrote it, it was one of those things where I didn't want it to be, it's kind of a little bit of a cliche kind of topic, especially being in a rock band. A lot of people write songs like that, you know what I mean? But the thing about that one was I was still trying to figure out how to write with this band and what I could do that would be able to work and what wouldn't be able to work, and I wrote out pretty much all the lyrics to that song. Scott and me, and we all got it together and it worked out great. But then the thing that surprised me about it was I thought that it was going to be one of the songs that would be the least, enjoyed by the fans. But the thing is about it, we had a lot of really big fans come up to us that had seen us 5 or 6 shows, and they go, that's the song, that's our favorite. So it really took me by surprise. And to be frank with you, that's probably, as far as writing my first real song that I feel like was able to be exactly what I wanted it to be. That was definitely it. And that's not only my favorite one to perform. That one and Killing a Giant are probably my top 2, especially performing live because they seem to go over very well. especially in a live context. And a lot of these songs, the studio versions are, I mean, they're great, but we're a live band, so you have to see it live to understand the full context.
We got 5 different. Mostly, I'm going to say mostly everybody likes to Show Me and Killing a Giant, and I concur, guys. 2 great songs.
I do have one other question. Are you guys, I mean, because you guys have the 6-track EP, is there a bunch of other songs that you guys have written that are being played live at your shows?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you guys still incorporating some of the 20th Century Goliath stuff?
Well, we absolutely aren't playing any 21st Century Goliath songs. We're definitely trying to distance ourselves from that brand and make it clear that we're a different brand. I mean, that's part of our history, but we are a different band. I believe I was the brainchild behind 21st Century Goliath. So when I say this, I hope it has more credibility. This is a far better band. I mean, this is a far better band. It's just new. It doesn't have 5 years of growth. It's not even a year old yet, but by the time this band is 5 years old, it's gonna be hard to ignore. But so we don't really play the 21st Century Goliath material. Very rarely we're off the beaten path, and we've got some old school 21 CG fans in the house who may cover it. After all, I wrote the song, so I got the right to play them if I want to. But we are playing all brand new material, and we do have three songs done in their entirety that we're actually going to record next month that are done, that we're playing on this tour right now. And we're in the process of writing about 4 or 5 other songs. Are going to come quick. It's just how quickly we can get the money and the resources to go record them the right way, because we don't like to half-ass that stuff.
All right, guys, thanks again for being part of the Hard Rockology show. The album is called Headfirst by Prowess. It's available now. Once again, guys, you guys got a webpage, Facebook. How can people find out about you?
Yeah, Facebook.com/ProwessRocks. And the website is www.prowess.rocks. But you can find out about us best by going to a show. If you look at your Bands in Town calendar or any of those, Reverb Nation or anything, you type in Prowess. Just look for 5 half-drunk, stinky-looking dudes, and that's us. And come find us when we come see you, and we'll make sure you have a good time. And it's all in good fun. We make a lot of jokes about alcohol and drinking and everything, but it's just we're not we don't like to get fall downs. We don't like to be out of our minds, but we do like to lube up a little bit and have a good time. And we want the crowd to enjoy us with that.
All right, guys, I want to thank you for being part of the Hard Rockology show. And like we do with all our guests, we usually have them take us out of the interview with a song from their latest release. So take it away, guys.
Thank you guys for listening to Hard Rockology. This is Scott from Prowess. Thanks for hanging with us. This is Show Me.